Once upon a time, in a land far away, there were many villages nestled among green forests. In one of these villages lived an old but hard-looking man known as Honeybeard Grandpa. He had a long white beard, a big smile, and always carried golden honey jars with him. Every morning, he'd wake up early, load his jars onto his donkey, and travel from village to village selling honey. Whenever children saw him, they'd shout, "Honeybeard Grandpa's here! Honeybeard Grandpa's here!" and gather around him. One day, Honeybeard Grandpa set out with his donkey. The sun was shining, and the birds were singing. Then, in the distance, he spotted a village. But this one was different. As he got closer, he heard a buzzing, bzzz 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 bee. The place was swarming with flies. The streets were muddy, and the front yards were a mess. Honeybeard Grandpa thought, what a filthy place. But stopped anyway. He never wanted to leave anyone without his honey. As soon as he reached the village square, children and adults crowded around him. "Honeybeard Grandpa, do you have honey?" they asked. He opened his jars, and the sweet smell of honey filled the air. But what's this? Flies swooped in. They landed on the honey, buzzing loudly, ruining everyone's fun. Honeybeard Grandpa grumbled, "Where did these flies come from? If you kept things clean, this wouldn't happen." The villagers shrugged and said, "Hey, brother, you're not selling honey, you're selling flies." Honeybeard Grandpa got furious. "This won't do," he declared and marched straight to the village muhtar. The muhtar was sitting in a huge chair, sipping his tea. Honeybeard Grandpa explained, "Muhtar, your village is full of flies. I can't sell my honey, the kids are scared, what's with all this mess?" The muhtar burst out laughing. "Oh, Honeybeard Grandpa, flies. What's the big deal? If you see one, just smack it and be done." Right then, a big, goofy fly landed on the muhtar's forehead. Bzzz bzzz bzzz. The muhtar didn't even notice, still chuckling. Honeybeard Grandpa was stunned at first, then annoyed. "If that's what you say, take this," he said, raising his hand and, pat, smacking the fly on the muhtar's forehead. The muhtar jumped out of his chair, yelling, "Ow! What did you do, Grandpa?" His forehead turned bright red, and everyone stared in shock. Honeybeard Grandpa calmly replied, "You said smack it, so I did." The villagers fell silent for a moment, then erupted into loud laughter. The muhtar, embarrassed, scratched his head. "You're right, Grandpa," he admitted. "These flies are a nuisance. But what can we do?" Honeybeard Grandpa smiled. "Let's work together. Clean up the mess, pick up the trash, and the flies will fly away." The villagers got to work at once. Kids grabbed brooms, adults carried buckets of water. By sunset, the village sparkled. And the flies? They buzzed off to somewhere else. From that day on, Fly Village became known as Clean Village. Whenever Honeybeard Grandpa visited, the villagers thanked him, and the children played happily around his honey jars. The muhtar never mocked flies again, joking, "I learned my fly lesson," until the redness on his forehead faded. And so, friends, we learned from this tale, if we keep our surroundings clean, we stay comfortable and free of unwanted guests like flies. Plus, let's think twice before laughing at others. Sometimes the lesson comes back to us. Sweet dreams to all of us.